Yes, children, now we will be starting the live streaming. Okay, so get ready for the session.
Okay, we are live now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, can we start, sir? I think almost everyone has joined. So that, 2 minutes to go. Right, for 10.
Sure, we can start, madam.
Okay. So very good morning, children, and very good morning, Kushijo sir, Krishna Kumar sir, and all the great personalities who are watching this very great session. And once again, another beautiful day for us with the great support of our IGL team, and we are really blessed to have Father Shijo sir with us for this beautiful seminar. And definitely with prayers we have to start this session. And before that, let me call Mincia, you can start the session. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Reverend Father Shijo Kaniratungunel, respected Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayan sir, our principal Dr. K.S. Balambika ma'am, beloved teachers, my dear colleagues, and all those who are watching this session in and around the world. A warm good morning to all. Let us start the session with Guru Vandanam.
Can I play the song?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Just a moment, Father sir. We'll play the prayer and then we'll give control back to you.
आनन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। गुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। आनन्द एव विजयते मनस्वस्थदेवानन्द मनोजय एव महाजय अहिंसैव परमो धर्मः।
Now, I would like to invite Abhinaya for the welcome speech.
A pleasant morning to one and all. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this beautiful program. I'm so glad that we are united from far apart for this webinar amidst this pandemic situation. Our webinar is conducted on the topic Imbibing the Meaning of Life in the Process of Learning and Teaching, a Positive Psychology Approach. The duty conferred upon me is to welcome everyone to this program. Father Shijo Kaniratham Kundil, our chief guest, hails from Kannur, Kerala. He was graduated in psychology from Union Christian College, Aluva, and holds a doctorate in positive psychology in USA. He is a licensed psychology practitioner from the American Board of Positive Psychology. I consider it as not only my privilege but the honor for our entire college to have him as a distinguished guest today. I cordially welcome Father Shijo, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Krishnakumar sir, founder of IGL Hands-On Private Limited USA. I think there is no need for much introduction as he have become one of us. He supports us, guides us, and helps us in each and every program. And we are so grateful for that. So without much ado, I sincerely welcome Dr. Krishnakumar sir. Next, I would like to welcome the strong pillar of our institution, our beloved principal, Dr. K.S. Balambika. Despite how much she was pulled back, she soars high just like a hummingbird. I proudly welcome Dr. K.S. Balambika to this function. Next in the list is to welcome the coordinators of this webinar, Santosh sir and Ginny ma'am. I cordially invite you to join this auspicious occasion. Last but not the least, I would like to welcome all the teachers, students, and everybody who is watching this program. I hope and request your benign cooperation throughout this program for its grand success. We welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinaya. A leader is one who lights the path to the impossible and takes those who follow a great heights. I would like to call upon our wings of light, our pillar of strength, and our constant source of motivation, Dr. K.S. Balambika ma'am, for the blessing message. Welcome, ma'am.
A blessing message. Okay, very good morning, children, and very good morning, Shijo sir and Krishna Kumar sir. Actually, the welcome speech is over. But anyway, I would like to tell you, dear children, that we are so blessed to have Father Shijo sir here, because we know very well that I have told you that on the other day during our meeting that he was a busy person, but even during the busy schedule that he is having, he has accepted our invitation, and he gave his consent to address you all in this great day. And again, as Abhinaya spoke very beautifully about, yes, Krishna Kumar sir, he is our own family member only, and he's giving all the support to us in all the programs. And again, I don't want to waste much time, so with great applause, let us welcome Father Shijo sir to this great seminar. Welcome sir, please.
Thank you everyone. Good morning those who are following from India, and good evening Krishna Kumar sir. Here in US it's already evening. It's 8:30 in Alaska and 9:30 in California. And thank you Balambika ma'am. I was just thinking, a few months ago, though all this technology existed, we never thought of this platform coming together. So I was just thinking, what came to my mind was from Maha Upanishad, Vasudeva Kudumbakam, that the whole world is one family. So we are united now from the last frontier, Alaska, from California, from India, different parts of India. So this is a great miracle, and this is a great opportunity. Maybe we can say, as we are dealing with positive psychology, a positive thing that's happening because of the COVID outbreak. So there are many openings so that we can see the positive side of everything in life, and this is one of them. Very often we are so busy in our life that we forget to live our life. So we worry about many things, we think about many things, and we forget to live our daily life. That's why I chose this topic, because of the first topic that came to my mind when we discussed was about positive education. And that's a little more formal topic than I thought. As a students and you're going to be teachers, let me choose something that is more practical and useful for everyone to live our life happy and flourishing. So this topic, yes, the first part is some theory and some explanations. The second part is some practical points that we can do everyday life. As you know, educational institutions are the primary place where children get the culture instilled in them, and teachers can decide and instill in children whatever they want. For example, teachers can transmit optimism, trust, hopeful sense of future, and positively influence the perspective of the students. And at the same time, teachers also can convey pessimism, distrust, tragic outlook on life, and the students can have a different worldview altogether, negative. And as we know, always parents want their children the best. They want to be happy, they want their well-being, they want to be successful, and they want to reach their potential. That's the dream of every parent for their children. However, what we see today is the prevalence of depression among the youth. According to one study, about 20% of the youth experience episode of clinical depression when they are in high school. And it is 10 times more common than 50 years ago. 10 times more than 50 years ago. But let's just take a look about our own circumstances from the 50 years behind. You know, we have more purchasing power, we have bigger homes, we have more cars, more attractive clothes, quality education, music, entertainment, women's rights, less pollution, entertainment, books, everything we have much, much better than 50 years ago. But when we look at the happiness level, it is slightly, sportly different at all. We can't even say that we are better in happiness level. And so there was an interesting study done by Columbia University. They tried to spot the happiest place in the world. And they found the first one was Denmark, second was Finland, and the third was Norway. And the US is in the 11th position. Surprisingly, Qatar is the richest country, and they are number 31. US is sixth in wealth. They are still in the 11th position. Japan has the longest life expectancy, but they are 44 in number. Hong Kong has the lowest murder rate in the world, but they are 67 in happiness. So what does this study point to? It's not about safety. It's not about life expectancy or income. It's something much richer than all this that gives meaning and happiness to life. Today's reality, we want a life without struggle. We all long for happiness, but we wish for a life without struggles and adversities. And that's what we teach our children, a life without struggle. Parents do everything possible to make their children happy. And what happens is, because of that, children are not taught to face the failures, the consequences. And so we can see when the result come, many attempt suicide. Children have lost their resilience power. If some failures occur, they don't know how to get back to life, bounce back. And not only among children, even among celebrities, even in spite of having everything, there's no happiness and they attempt suicide. We had a recent story in India, which was really sad. And that's the situation in our world today. And according to a study done by Master Healthcare Administration, MHA, among children between 11 and 17 years old, they found that 55% of the children feel irritable and angry. 69 worry a lot, and 68 feel sad or unhappy, and 45% do not know what they are feeling. And the consequence, addictions, when children, when students, when teenagers do not know how to manage their emotions and manifest into different behaviors. So they fall into addictions, eating disorders, mood disorders, neurotic disorders, psychosis, sleep disorders, etc. And added to that today, the social media and its impact on youth is tremendous. Negatively, it has also positive things. So according to a survey done by a Pew Research Center, 95% of teens aged 13 to 17 own smartphones and have access to them. It's a good thing because now we are using smartphone for something positive. 45% of the teens say they are online almost constantly. Lower income teens use Facebook more than teens from higher income families. Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook are their platforms of choice. Girls use Snapchat 41% more than boys. And 45% believe that social media has a neutral effect on people, whereas 31 say social media has positive effect, while 24 say it is negative. And now also think about how our media and technology affect children whose brains are not fully developed. According to the scientific studies, a human brain will develop completely to its full only by 24, 25, 26 years of age. And therefore, think about their flight, because today when a child cries, they give a cell phone, they play on it, and the parents are happy, children are happy. But how much it affects their socio-emotional situation, we do not know. Therefore, having given this background to understand our own world today, what is happening, I would like to pose 3 questions for our reflection, then we proceed. What are the things that contribute for a life of well-being and happiness? If we said all that survey, the richest, the happiest spot in the world, there was no money, there was no security, nothing was a reason for happiness. So what are the things that contribute to a life of well-being and happiness, if you think today? How can we teach well-being to our children? And how can we construct a meaning for life? Before going into the meaning of life, I would like to explain a little bit about positive psychology, just to get an idea what it is. Psychology had 3 broad aims in the first half of 20th century, psychology in general. To cure mental illness, of course, psychology studies mental illness. To nurture high talent and to improve people's lives. 3 objectives for psychology. But then after the Second World War and its trauma and the consequences, it narrowed its scope and began to treat only mental illnesses. So it became more of a study and research of weak people and highlighting their shortcoming than strength until recently. So psychology, of course, it was developed a lot. It can treat many mental disorders. It classifies everything properly. It has its everything well taken care. But it was always focused on the weak things in life. For example, if you are mentally sick, from -5, bring back to a normal level of 0 level. Whereas positive psychology, it was officially announced in 1998, it's only 22 years old, by Martin Seligman. It's one of its founders. When he was the president of the American Psychological Association, he said, positive psychology has a different function to make a normal life better life. So it's not just treating the mental illness or pathologies. And therefore, from 1998, many psychologists and scientists took over the study, and the research was done in various areas like well-being, happiness, positive emotions, optimism, hope, flow, mindfulness, love, wisdom, courage, creativity, authenticity, motivation, and goals. So everything, the positive side of life that can contribute for a better life of a person. Of course, positive psychology, when we speak about this, it's not only dealing with all positive. For example, a theme called post-traumatic growth is how to help people who have gone through trauma to come back to a normal life. It's also part of positive psychology. Resilience, of course, when something negative happens, how to bounce back and go back to a normal life. So positive psychology also deals with other things. And in the positive psychology, there's an area called positive education. This was our first topic, in fact, we had chosen. So I just brief what is positive education. Positive education is the combination of the traditional principles as we have right now. Positive psychology is not changing anything, but then it adds happiness and well-being. The theory is Martin Seligman's PERMA model and values in action. PERMA, we are going to explain a little following this one, but let me tell you what is values in action. Values in action are help the children or adults to identify their strength, like honesty, loyalty, perseverance, kindness, wisdom, courage, fairness. And then they add 16 more. There are 24 virtues universally identified by all the cultures as common. And then we can make a survey and identify which strength is mine. And then work on the strength, human strength, then weaknesses. And then the PERMA model, of course, is integrated with this. And this is all campus can take up in a school or in an education institution, or the teachers can adapt to this positive education and teach children the values and the well-being. So there are different ways of doing positive education in the schools and institutions. And it is a successful project started in Australia and now it's worldwide. PERMA is composed of 5 core elements that are necessary for psychological well-being and happiness. So now remember these 5 things, always this will be useful in life. These 5 things. PERMA is a short form. So what is PERMA? P stands for positive emotions. E stands for engagement. R for relationships, meaning, and achievement. So this is PERMA, the theory of well-being. Now we will just explain each one little by little. Positive emotions is the most obvious element connected with the happiness. This model emphasizes the importance of focusing on the positive aspect of life instead of negative, as we can see in the title, Positive Emotions. Now, how did they come to this? A few years ago, in a university, go down of a library, they found a few boxes closed very well. And the researchers were curious to know what documents were there in that document. When they opened, they found diaries of many nuns who were in the monastery in early 20s and lived, and they studied all those diaries. The monks in the monastery wrote diaries daily. They write something, their reflections, and they studied, and they found that is about 50, 60, 70 years. It's a longitudinal study. They found that the nuns who had positive words written in their diary lived 10 to 15 years more than the others who used negative terms in writing their diary, which means positive emotions contribute to longer life. That was the conclusion. So this famous study, again directed to many other researchers, and then we have the most recent theory by Barbara Fredrickson. It's called Broaden and Build Model Theory, where she says, when we are in a negative emotional state, it gives us a short tunnel vision. You can just think about a moment you're angry, negative emotion, we can think properly. It gives a tunnel vision. Whereas when we are in a positive mood, we are able to think more broadly and more creatively. And that is proven today. Maybe we know it. That's right from our own experiences. But Barbara Fredrickson made a long research and developed this theory called Broaden and Build Model Theory, which says if we are in a positive mood, life is much better, happier, and it will contribute to longer life. Whereas if we are negative emotions, we will have always a narrow view, not able to be creative, and not making proper decisions for our life. Now let's come to the second point, which is engagement. Activities that meet our need for engagement flood the body with the positive neurotransmitters and hormones that elevate one's sense of well-being, which means when we are engaged, there's a whole chemical neurotransmitter process that's going on in our brain. People who enjoy different things like playing an instrument, a sport, dancing, or working on an interesting project that we like, all this keeps us engaged. For example, sometimes when we do something, we do not know the time. We lose touch of the time. So we say time flies because we are so immersed in that activity that we do not know about the time, which is called flow, one of the concepts in positive psychology, where we are completely engaged in doing something. And that's what we need sometimes. We need to have engagement, doing something that interests us most. So at this time, just to think, name 3 things that you would like to do in your life most, that you enjoy, really you like to do. Not because somebody else told you, not because you get a good job, but really 3 things in your life that you like to do and you just enjoy doing that. Could be a hobby, could be a sport, could be any other thing. But just think about it and how you develop that. How often you make use of your talent for that. So that's engagement. That helps us to keep our life going. The third one is relationship. Because this is one of the important aspects, because most people, especially in Western cultures, think relationship, there's no much value in the sense it's more of an individual concept. But we are social animals who are hardwired to bond and depend on each other. Hence, the basic need for a healthy relationship is a must for human life. We need love, We need intimacy, strong emotional support, physical interaction with other human beings. We need positive relationships with parents, siblings, peers, co-workers, friends. Everything contributes for our joy. If relationship is affected, we are sad, we are depressed, we feel anxious. Most of our problems in life happens because of the relationship issues. Just think about your family, or if you had any conflict with any person, maybe a friend, the moments how you spent after that, and if you could reestablish that relationship, how joyful you were. Think about it. So relationship is one of the important elements of our life. Always try to build good relationships. Now, positive, the meaning and purpose of life. This also touches our topic. People find meaning in different things, and we construct meaning. One of the classical examples we can say is Viktor Frankl. If you have heard about the book, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist from Vienna, and in 1942, he was arrested by the Nazis and taken to the concentration camp. What happened? It's not only he, his parents, his pregnant wife, his sister, everyone in the family were taken into the concentration camp in different places. Nobody saw each other. They were working in bad weather, less food, no cloth. Really, as we have read the German Nazi concentration camp situations in the history, and they passed that time. So Viktor Frankl, being a psychiatrist, observed some people gave up hope immediately as soon as they reached facing all these struggles. And sorry, I forgot to move the slides. So Franklin observed that people lost their hope, and those who lost their hope gave to death. In the sense, they died earlier than others. But people who imagined about a day when war will be over, we will be released, they kept surviving. So in spite of all the hardships that endured in Nazi concentration camp, some people survived, others died, which made him to think, what is the meaning of life? And he was also looking forward to a day he will be reunited with his wife and child, probably, because after a few months, his wife would deliver, his parents and sister. But what happened? Finally, when war was over, when the prisoners were released, only the person left from his family was his sister. His wife with the unborn child died, his parents died, nobody knew where they were, all his friends and family, he lost everything. But he did something different. He wanted to tell the world how to find meaning in spite of the adversities that is happening. So he started writing to tell his story in the camp. And so the book, which is still, according to the Library of Congress, 10 most influential books of all time, it's called Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote in a few days, which consists of first part, his experience in the concentration camp, and second part is a psychotherapy he developed called logotherapy. And because of which we know what happened in the concentration camp. His perspective was different towards life in spite of the suffering, in spite of the loss. So he said, all have a system of belief. We all develop a system of belief because of our childhood, because of our family background, our culture. We all have developed a system. And so if we have a question, why, we can find an answer, how. So when things go wrong in life, the first question that we have to ask is why. And then naturally we can find how. And he says, meaning is something we construct. We cannot buy it. Nobody gives us. We can't find it. Each person construct meaning of life according to our situation, according to our circumstances, according to what we live and experience. And therefore, meaning we have to construct every day. It can be different. So life's meaning change each day for each person according to our experience, because our thinking and experience may not be the same like 5 years ago and maybe after 10 years, because when we read, when we experience, when we grow and become matured, life changes, perspective changes, meaning changes, values changes. So we construct meaning, and it can be different in each day, each year, each month. But what is important is construct meaning. Karen Wyeth, a family physician and a spiritual writer, tells about the thinking when speaking about meaning, how to live after trauma or a negative event happens. So first thing is perspective. When something happens negative, our perspective towards life changes. Now, if you just think about the COVID situation, after going through all these experiences for a few months, our perspective has changed. We know life is not the same. So in the same way, when something negative happens, our perspective changes towards life. And we know when life is limited and precious, we have to acknowledge the fact that we are mortal and life will end one day. We don't know when. Once we are born, the only thing we are sure is we will die one day, but we don't know when. That's why even when I teach mindfulness, to find meaning, we have to think about always death as the background to find meaning in life. So that's why during the COVID situation, here, for example, most of the cases that I was dealing with was fear of death. Hearing about the death toll in different countries, people are afraid if what will happen if I die tomorrow because of the COVID. So people just terrified to die. And so they entered into depression, anxiety, and many other mental disorders. Therefore, if we have this perspective about life, that life is limited, it is precious, that will make us to live each day meaningfully. But then always thinking about death will help us as a background to construct meaning for our life today, to enjoy this moment. The second point is prioritization. There's no time to waste our time, because life is precious, each moment is precious. So identifying what matters most in our life and finding the values to progress in life is important. Because even if we are not able to identify what we need in life, there's no time left. Each moment is important. Therefore, the second thing is prioritize things in life and find meaning. The third point is preparation. There is no substitute for planning ahead of some changes that could occur. Because if you think that life is going to be always the same way, we are mistaken. Because life can change suddenly. And the perfect example again is the corona outbreak. Everything changed. Whole world was changed. And therefore, we should be prepared for this change. Because, Martin Seligman says, if we can catastrophize situations. That means think of the extreme that can happen. If you are worried about things, just think about what the most can happen to me. And then we come back to a normal thing. Okay, then I don't need to worry. This is what maximum can happen. Because otherwise, sometimes we end up in thinking and imagining things which are not going to happen. Of course, most of our worries are never going to realize, unnecessary worries. So catastrophizing is good, but not remaining in that, just thinking of the extreme thing that can happen, will help us to find meaning at this moment. And then, of course, practice. Practice means life. Finding constructive meaning requires some effort. We have to do something, and it has to be daily practice for us, like a mental discipline, like yoga or meditation, physical exercises, improving our skills. All this help us search meaning in life. So we also need to practice. Next point is achievement. Having goals and ambition in life can help us to achieve things that can give us a sense of accomplishment. In life, we need accomplishment as human beings. And therefore, our goals, our ambition in life can help us to reach this accomplishment. And so therefore, we have to set realistic goals and work towards it, put effort to reach that goal, which can give us a lot of satisfaction in life. So having accomplishment in life is important to push ourselves to thrive and flourish. So if we don't accomplish anything, we cannot experience peace, we cannot thrive in life, and we cannot flourish. So to be happy, we need also some accomplishments in life, making use of our talents. And therefore, just to summarize again, remember these 5 elements, which is very important, easy to remember: PERMA, positive emotions, engagement, relationships, so it's called the positive relationships, meaning, and achievement. And therefore, this is the base theory for well-being and happiness in positive psychology. Now, most people fail to create happiness and meaning in life because they are conditioned to believe that wrong things can make them happy. Because we think if we have a lot of money, we are happy. We are mistaken. Okay, we will be momentarily happy, but we will not be happy permanently. If we have good health, we will be happy momentarily. And so people have different myths about happiness. The first myth is happiness must be found. Happiness cannot be found because happiness is a state of mind. We perceive, we experience depending on our approach to ourselves and the world outside us. So it's not to be found, it is to be experienced within. And that depends on our approach towards ourselves and the world outside of us. And the second myth is happiness lies in changing our circumstances. If you think that if what we are going through, for example, again, COVID situation, we will be happy. Do you think you will be happy? No. If we are not happy today, even if the COVID goes away, we will not be happy. So the happiness does not depend on the circumstances. It depends on us. Our happiness depends on us, not on the circumstances. So the difference is, as long as our happiness depends on external things and the persons, we are not happy, because if anything goes wrong with a person, if we don't get the things that we want, we will not be happy. Whereas real joy can be experienced within us when we change our perspective and attitude. So circumstances have very little to do. The third myth is either you have it or don't, which means it is genetically inherited. My happiness is genetically inherited, so we blame on maybe our parents or somebody and say, I got it, so what can I do? And but that's not right, because the researchers now show that even if we have some percentage that contribute to our happiness genetically, we can overcome our genetic programming. It is possible to overcome our genetic programming. Therefore, life circumstances, if we put together, contribute only 10% to our happiness level, just 10%. So I'm going to explain to you an interesting theory, which is called 40%. H is the happiness level. S is your set range of happiness, which means genetically inherited. C is your circumstances and conditions of life, which is, we said, 10%. and V is our voluntary reaction. So happiness, H equal to S plus C plus V. Now let us see how much is the percentage. Circumstances, see, only 10% contributes to our happiness, which means even if we change to a beautiful city, a beach house, a bigger house, our happiness level will be changed within a short time. It will not be lasting. If we have S is our set point, which is genetically inherited, but the studies show that we can change that. So 50% we can change, or we may not like to change. 10% is the circumstances, so it's very little, but most of the time we think if life circumstances change, we'll be happy. And then we have 40%. The 40 is the most important in this theory, because 40% depends on our voluntary reaction, how we react in each situation, what we say, how we deal with the things, how we solve the problems, how we achieve things in life, how we positively relate. All those theory of PERMA comes under this 40. If we know how to react well in a situation using our positive emotions, life will be happier each day. Whereas if our happiness depends on the circumstances, which is only 10%, we will never be happy, because circumstances contributes only very little. And genetic, we can change our genetic makeup, but 40% is in our hands. It depends on us. So just think how you want to react, how you want to take control of your happiness. It all depends on you. So even if it's only 40%, it depends on us. And then some people think beauty has some link with happiness. Something, if you are very beautiful, handsome, you're happy. No, the studies shows otherwise, because studies done in plastic surgery, people done plastic surgery, those who are not happy with their physical structures, especially we know teenagers have more worry about their physical structures than others. It's found that those who did plastic surgery came back to their happiness level in a week or two, which means they were happy at the moment, and soon they went back to their previous level of happiness, which means beauty has nothing to do with happiness either. And then the 40% is the most important thing. So remember, our happiness depends on ourselves. And the 4 important things is PERMA. Now we are going to do some practical things, to discuss some practical points, how to manage life, to savor the moment of each day. Because we can't just speak our theory and say, okay, now you manage. We need some practical things. So I'm going to deal with some points. If you take seriously these points, I can assure you life will change. If you take these following points seriously after understanding the theory that we spoke. It is applicable to any person, any age, in any situation, any country, any culture. So no matter where you are, who you are, what you are doing, this can change life. Now, the first thing is gratitude. Now, gratitude is not just saying thank you. It's much more than that. 4 things I have written here: looking at the bright side of setback, fathoming our abundance, what we have, acknowledging what we have already, thanking someone in your life, and thanking God for counting the blessings rather than what we don't have. The studies show that if a person lives in gratitude, he can never be unhappy, because a person who lives in gratitude will be always happy. That is the study. And now, how can we practice gratitude if it is not just thanking someone? The most interesting or most practical therapy, it's a therapy. If you do this, I'm sure life will change. If you want to try it. Now, buy a diary or a book. Start writing. every day. Sit for 10-15 minutes quiet each day, any time of the day you prefer. Write 3 things I am grateful for in my life. If you are a believer in God, you can say 3 things I am grateful to God for today, just today, not general, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today, 3 things I am grateful to God or I am grateful for. And write it every day. Sit about 15 to 20 minutes quietly, reflect about life, and start writing. After 3 weeks, you will start seeing the changes in your life. And this can also be practiced with other persons. For example, if you have difficulty with a person in your relationship, imagine that person, because always we can find something positive in persons, in relationships, any situation, we can always find something positive. So if you have an issue with a person, for example, if you are married and you have relationship issues, write 3 things that I'm grateful to my husband today. 3 things I'm grateful to my wife today. Start writing. You will see the family life change. So this is one of the best therapies you can practice every day, and life will change, because a person who lives with gratitude cannot be unhappy. He'll be happy always. This is a proven theory in positive psychology. And second one is optimism. Optimism, or learning to be optimistic doesn't mean that we have to believe that everything is going to happen positive. No, it's not optimism, because we can our past, present, future without any complications, life, everything perfect. Let anything happen, I will be happy. No, those things are not optimism. Optimism is when a person is optimistic about the future. That optimism predisposes people to behave in constructive, healthy ways in specific situations. That is the difference. It's not thinking about everything is going to be 100% okay, positive thinking, but optimism is predisposes people to behave in constructive, healthy way in situations. That produces an overall good feeling, which means constructively we can approach each aspect of life. Now, one of the ways to practice optimism is visualize a future in which everything has turned out the way you wanted. Visualize a future. I mean, we should not be living in dreams, but visualize a future that everything turned out to be as you wished in your life. The second way to practice is goals and sub-goals. Set goals, because we need goals in life, and identifying our goals and trying to achieve those goals will help us to be optimistic about life. Because unless we achieve something, we can never be optimistic, think positive about the future. And therefore, 2 ways to practice optimism. One is visualizing about the future, everything happened as we thought it should happen. Second thing is setting goals and achieving them. Now, one of the things that happen to people is overthinking. Overthinking, think about anything needlessly, passively, without any effect. Some people always think about things that have no connection with their life. For example, just I'll give you an example. If you are sitting to read a book, your book, study book, sometimes you have to read 3 or 4 times the same line to grasp the meaning. That is when you are troubled, when you're overthinking. Your thoughts are away, distracted. Whereas when you are concentrating with one reading, you get it. So that is one of the problems that the students face when we are troubled with many things, and when we worry about many things which have no relevance in life. we even lose what is important. That is our concentration to do what is important in life. Therefore, avoid social thinking. And social comparison is, that's what our culture teaches children. Always we are compared with other children, we are compared with others, and we ourselves compare with others. So unless we avoid social comparison, we can never prosper in life. People cannot be happy and envious at the same time. If we compare ourselves, we feel envious because I don't have many things the other person has. Whereas we can never be happy if we are envious. That's the fact. So we have to avoid overthinking and social comparison. Now, practicing kindness. The moral dimension of kindness is generosity. People all know that. That's a universal virtue that is practiced, being kind to someone. So Dalai Lama says, if you want to be happy, practice compassion. And that's what the main principle of Buddhism is. And a Hindu proverb says, true happiness consists in making others happy, helping others, helping them to grow with us, walk with us. And therefore, happiness is always giving oneself to others, helping others. Now, there's a famous story about a psychiatrist called Carl Menninger. He is from the US, Kansas City. So there's a foundation called the Menninger Foundation, Psychiatric Foundation in Kansas City. So he was well-known psychiatrist, and he was giving a conference for an elite group. And when he was giving the talk, from among the audience, a person asked, "Sir, if a person come to your clinic depressed and anxious, worried, what would you suggest first to do?" So Carl Menninger said, "I will tell the person." People thought he will suggest a therapy, give a counseling, give an advice or a medicine. No, he said, I will tell that person, go home, close your door, cross the street, find a needy person and help him. That's the best medicine for depression. Helping someone is the best medicine for depression and anxiety. If you are not convinced, try. When you are depressed, go out, and you need not be giving money, just to give a little food for a person who is sitting on the roadside, who is hungry, more than one who is receiving. One who gives benefits from that. That is the advantage of compassion, kindness, giving. More than one who receives, one who benefits is one who gives. Therefore, practicing kindness is not just a religious principle, but it is more a psychological and human principle. If we practice kindness towards others, we will be happy. There's no doubt about it. Nurturing social relationships. Now, we spoke about positive relationships. So one of the essential functions of social bond is having good friendships, good relationship with people. Is at the time of stress, depression, trauma, we have a support from others. We can share our problems with others. It can be tangible, it can be emotional, it can be informational. Anyway, we can find healthier support, especially when we go through struggles and difficulties, trauma, stress, and depression. And therefore, find a good social support that will help us to be happy and find people when we need them, because without social support, we can't survive. The next one is learning to forgive. Now, forgiveness is something that we can do for oneself and not for the other person who wronged. The same way as kindness, the one who forgives benefits more than one who receives the forgiveness. Forgiveness, we may think it's a religious principle, but making peace with the people with whom we have conflict, when we do things wrong, asking forgiveness, asking sorry, is all part of life, and we can benefit a lot, because carrying all the burdens of our bitterness between people when things go wrong doesn't help anything in life. We have to take out from our mind all this bitterness and um, and problems that we carry as a heavy burden, unnecessary burden in life. Learn to forgive people, and we benefit from that. And therefore, make forgiveness a practice, not because we belong to a religion, but anybody can practice that. Now, savoring life's joys. We have many moments in our life. We forget to live this moment. Maybe something we are worried about tomorrow. Maybe we are thinking about the future. We forget to live today. So savoring life's joys is an important element. Live happy and enjoy each moment. Past, of course, we can savor the past. We can have imagining about a good future. Also, we can savor the future. But savoring the present is one of the good things that we can do to be happy. Because most people live in the future or in the past, not in the present. Now, how can we do that? Just think about an example. In your house, most of the good things we keep for the guest or keep for some other occasion, right? We don't use daily the good things. Like the best dress we keep for a special occasion. Maybe some cutleries, plates, and all these things that we put in the glass. We keep it forever. We never use that. For whom are we saving? If it is in Alaska, if there's previous year, when there was an earthquake, most people lost their things which were preserved as a treasure. In a moment, they lost everything. So always we keep things and the beautiful things of life for someone else, for some other occasion, and we forget to enjoy for ourselves. Now, strategies for foster savoring. Relish ordinary experiences. Sometimes we think savoring life, we need extraordinary things. Simple things of life. Look at life. Avoid the negativity. Enjoy the little things that happen in our life. The small joys in relationships, in friendships, in our college experiences, the campus experience. Everything, a small little thing can contribute. And when we understand consciously and savor each moment, that contributes to our happiness. And also, our moments with our family and friends is the best way to savor the moment. Because when we are with our loved ones, it's a special moment. We need to enjoy those moments. And we can also replay happy days, in the sense if we had beautiful, happy moments in the past, we can also rewind them today and think about that. That's also a way of savoring the past. So there are different ways that we can enjoy our life in the moment. Just look at the nature, the beauty of it. Do we sometimes feel the awe experience? Everything is a wonder in this world. If we are open to observe and make it part of our life, this observation, the beauty and excellence that we see every day, we can enjoy each moment. Now, mindfulness. Mindfulness, as you may know, you may heard, it's the best therapy meditation provide today for any situation, any sickness. This is the only medicine that exists in the world without a secondary effect. Of course, they say cognitive therapy, cognitive psychotherapy, Prozac, and mindfulness. Cognitive behavior therapy is the best accepted therapy. If people are seriously sick, of course, we need some professional help. So cognitive therapy. Prozac is a medicine which has same effect, antidepressant, which has the same effect as the cognitive therapy, but not lasting. But mindfulness is lasting, no cost, we can practice by ourselves. Mindfulness, in short, is it's originally coming from Buddhism. In India, we can call it, it's a westernized form, we call it mindfulness. So in India, it's Vipassana meditation is the same. It is mindfulness, Vipassana meditation. So mindfulness speaks about three things mainly. Be conscious, live in the moment, and be non-judgmental. Without judging, live in the moment and being aware of it. Which means each moment we are aware what is happening to us. That is the best way to bring happiness into our life. So find some group or ways to learn about mindfulness and practice the mindfulness meditation that can help us a lot in any situation. If you can find 15 to 30 minutes to sit quiet and concentrate on our breath. I mean, people who do yoga and other meditations are equally good, but mindfulness is another meditation. So mindfulness is becoming a widely practiced therapy in the Western countries. Though in India, sometimes Vipassana meditation is not used at all. Maybe a few people know about it. Now, to find happiness in life, we need goals. Unless we have something to do, look forward to do, we can never be happy. And therefore, always work towards a goal, having values, challenging activities, and it is essential for our well-being. Always set strategies to achieve your goals, because without goal, we can never be happy in life. Achievement, as we spoke previously, brings happiness. And according to the new researches and studies, practicing religion and spirituality has a major role in happiness and health. Now, we all belong to different religions. I'm not talking about religions. What is spirituality? Spirituality is a search for the sacred. Whichever God you believe in, we are search. It is defined as, spirituality is defined as search for the sacred. So if we belong to a religion, if you believe in a God, that's fine. That is Brahman or it's Allah or it's Jesus Christ, whoever it is, that's fine. And that has an added advantage if we belong to a religion and if we have principles of practicing that religion. Whereas even if we don't have a religion, we don't need to. We don't need to belong to a religion, institutionalized religion, to be spiritual. Spirituality is part of human person. But unless and until we foster this spirituality in us, we can never be happy. Like meditation, prayer, all this can instill a lot of happiness and tranquility into our life. Can calm our body, calm our mind, and so it is tied to happiness. Spirituality is tied to happiness. Especially, it is found that religious women are more happy, according to studies. And therefore, search for the sacred. Even if you don't believe in God, remember, spirituality can be practiced, and that is search for the sacred, because we know we are limited and there is a power outside of us. Now, taking care of our body through meditation, because meditation has many positive effects. It's not only just brings us a heightened state of awareness, but health effects, increased blood flow, brain change, makes changes in the brain, physiological effects of neurotransmitters, and it has interventions with patients with heart disease, chronic pain, skin disorders, variety of such mental conditions like anxiety, panic, depression, substance abuse. All this can be managed if we practice meditation, because the moment we have control over our mind, we have control over our emotions. And therefore, practicing any form of meditation, yoga, maybe mindfulness, maybe metta meditation. Metta meditation is in Pali, it is called loving kindness meditation. It's also a Buddhist form of meditation. All this helps us, together with our spirituality, to transcend, because human beings can transcend what we are now. That's a different level of consciousness. It's not only meant for the gurus and sages and the spiritual leaders. We all as human beings can transcend. That's what Abraham Maslow, the humanistic psychologist, the humanistic school of psychology, Abraham Maslow called it a self-actualization. We can all reach a higher level of consciousness than what we are. So by searching for the sacred, spirituality, and meditation, we can reach that stage of level. It's not for only meant for a few. And that changes life, that changes perspective, that changes happiness, level of happiness. And of course, the health benefits, both physical and mental. And then taking care of our body, the physical activity, as we know, the physical activity reduces anxiety, stress, protects us from dying in general, reduces risk of numerous diseases. Now, all these are benefits, and many other things are benefits of physical activity. Most people today think going to gym or doing exercises for reducing weight, dieting. No, even if you are okay in your weight, even if we feel quite good our physical structure, exercise can help us to balance our health, and it has many health effects. So we should not be doing exercise. Of course, we can also do for reducing weight or whatever diet we can. But other than that, physical activity has to be made part of our daily routine. As people say, at least walk 30 minutes. Now, sometimes we have a lot of movements working in the family or in the campus. We get it with our own working hours, we get a lot of movements, so that's fine. But those who are sitting and working, especially in the office, we need movement of our body. So find time also for physical activity. Now, rest. No matter how active and vigorous and successful we are in life, if we are not able to sleep, if you have found that, if you are past a night without sleeping, you have experienced that. It affects our mood, our energy, alertness, longevity, and health. It really affects us. We need good rest. We need good sleep. Therefore, our activities, physical activities, helps us to sleep well. That's another advantage. And unless we get good sleep, we cannot work appropriately. Therefore, also set a time for sleeping, waking, and a peaceful mind. A person with a peaceful mind can rest well. And therefore, all these things that we said contributes to that, to spend a peaceful night, to get up with more vigor and enthusiasm to continue our life. Live each day happy, enjoying and savoring each moment. And therefore, again, go back to PERMA, positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and achievement. 5 important things that we have to remember in our life. And now, find the things that make you happy and can make you fully engaged. It's a conclusion. So find, that's important for life if you wish to be happy and flourish. Find the things that make you happy and that will make you fully engaged, the things that you like to do. Focus on your relationships with your family, your friends, and find ways to connect with others, even if it does not come naturally at first. Relationships are very important. Connect with everyone. Find meaning to your life and what gives you a sense of purpose. Construct meaning in what gives you a sense of purpose. And it is different for everyone. Each person construct meaning for themselves. So find meaning, be happy. And so remember PERMA. If we can practice these 5 points in our life and the practical implications that I explained in the second part, with gratitude until through sleep, all those elements, even if a little bit, it's not that tomorrow we are going to be perfect and we accomplish everything. No, gradually. It takes time. It needs hard work. It needs dedication. It needs conscious thinking. And so starting mindfulness may be the best thing to be conscious about it and start practicing each thing. But like gratefulness, we can start practicing today. Like forgiveness and many other things, we can, kindness, meditation, all these things we can start today, and gradually we will get the effect. So if we are really looking forward to a flourishing life, a life of well-being, a happy life, a joyful life, which has a sense and purpose, think about what is important for you. Give priorities, set your priorities and goals, and live each day savoring each moment. Thank you.
Yes, that was really, really, really fantastic, my dear children. Yes, we are so blessed, no doubt. And you know, it was really fantastic, I have told you, and divine, and also all inclusive. Thank you very much, Shujo sir. Such a great session, fantastic session. Thank you very much. We are so happy and blessed. Definitely, we have to. Yes, Krishna Kumar sir, please.
No, I think please conclude, madam. I think I was just going to say, I was going to agree with you that it was a fantastic session. I was completely glued to Father's presentation and all the words of wisdom, all the practical things that Father talked about, little things, happiness in life, many things I can go on, but please continue. I think this is
Yes,
wonderful.
that what you know, the gratitude, you know, that was something. Yes, children, definitely all of you from today onwards, you have to start writing a diary. Okay, as Father told, write 3 things, you know, that you are, you know, really that feeling, that attitude of gratitude, that itself will give you everything. Okay, and again, forgiveness, kindness, you know, that was that only that I told, you know, that was all inclusive, you know, that gave a true meaning to our life. Just practice everything that he spoke now. Okay, so the anyway, because definitely we have to listen from our students also. Thank you, Shujo sir, for your great presence.
Happy to be here with you.
And I have to thank Major Nara. Yes, Major Narayanan sir also in this occasion, because of him only, that he only, you know, suggested definitely that will be a beautiful session. If you are planning with Shujo sir, if he is available, you can plan for that. Thank you, Narayanan sir also. And again, of course, I hope Santosh sir is here. First, before definitely we have to ask questions from children. I mean their aspects. Santosh sir, are you here? Santosh sir, is it audible? You are here? Okay, so I think we can go for the questions, children. Come on, children. Mincia, what else?
If anybody
you
wants
have
to
to
post
unmute your mic before talking.
yeah, or you can also type it in your chat window. Is also fine. Either one is fine.
Yeah.
Now this is time for queries. If you have any doubts, you can ask Father.
Nothing to worry. You can ask anything.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Father.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, sir, I have to ask that if it is of small children, small kids, how can we inculcate such a positive thoughts in small children? How can they nowadays it is a lockdown period, so in this corona and all affecting many people a lot. So how we can remove depression from the small children? What is your suggestion, Father?
Depression, well-being, as you said, if the whole family is opting to live a positive
இந்த
life.
எடுத்துக்கோ. எனக்கு இன்னும் மெசேஜ் அனுப்பியிருக்க ஐஷனட்ல இருந்து. அது வந்து எனக்கு இதுல இருந்து ஒருத்துதான்.
Okay, if the whole family is willing to live a positive life, naturally it will have the impact on the children. Now, so we can teach children well-being, and that is primarily the values, the universal values. So when parents and teachers instill values in the children, that's where they'll learn about well-being in life. That life is not just about success, life is not just about achievement, but there is something more than that, human values. That is why the positive education highlights two things. With the traditional education, give values to the children. But this is a gradual process. So either it has to be started in the school with the teachers and all the students, or it can be also in the family. But then parents have to adopt to that situation, circumstances. Because if parents are not positive and cannot instill values, children won't learn. So parents are the primary teachers. Now, depression, if it is because of the coronavirus situation, because children cannot go to school, that's a common thing everyone is experiencing. But you have to see which level of depression. If it's a normal thing, that is fine. But if it is chronic, if it is clinical, then you may need professional help. So that's what you have to see. If it is a normal thing, uneasiness because of the situations, because children can't go to school, because they have to learn at home, and they have no opportunities for play, mixed with other students, all feel that. But then if it is more than that, if it is developed into a chronic one, if it is developing into a clinical one, depression, then we need a professional help. So that's what you as a parent, you have to identify. If it is a normal thing, that can go if in a few days when situation is normal, or is it going beyond your control?
Thank you, Father.
Good morning to all. May I have a question, sir?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay, good morning, Father, and good morning to all. I myself, Ashik Rahman. Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, dear Father, I'm such a person that who is always engaged in overthinking. At each and every second, I think something which may be my past experience or the present condition, or sometimes I will think about the future, thinking in such a way that I'm engaged in speaking with someone, either of my friends or my relatives, or sometimes I am speaking with myself through my mind. It's such a process that an electronic device, which is worked for a long time, may get heated up. Such a way, my mind always getting heating. When I'm trying to control my overthinking, and I'm saying to myself that just leave your mind alone, just take some rest. At that moment, I begin to think something else. So each and every second, my mind gets heating up without any need. So I hope you will give me a solution for this.
Solution is you yourself. I can only say what can be done. You know, it is a human tendency to think negative. For example, a beautiful day, we accomplished many things. 99% of the things that we did today was well done. But at the last moment, one thing went wrong. We spend the rest of the day thinking about that 1% of the thing went wrong than 99 good things we did the whole day. That's a human tendency. So that's why when I spoke about PERMA, the importance of positive emotions, filling our mind with optimism, positive things. Negativity is also needed sometimes, negative emotions, but when it takes control of our mind, we end up in overthinking. And 99% of the things that we worry and overthink never happen. That is a human experience. Never will happen. And therefore, the term Martin Seligman used is catastrophizing. Think extreme, but people live in that. It should not be always thinking on that, heating your mind, as you said. So first time I hear heating your mind. So maybe I can use it somewhere else. The best medicine, Ashik, I can say, is mindfulness. Mindfulness. It's a meditation. It is a way of life. If you are practicing yoga or any other meditation, that is fine. If you find a little time, if you can find about 10 days, find a Vipassana center, Vipassana meditation center, go and spend there. Your mind will be calm. Your thinking will change. Now, for it to be mindfulness to be a practical thing in life, we need to take effort. Thinking that I'm overthinking can never change, but we need to make effort. We have to put some work. So if you're really affected with this overthinking and heated mind, think about joining a yoga program, going for a Vipassana meditation, or any other groups, spiritual activities or mental activities that helps us to balance our mind. And I can assure you, mindfulness is Vipassana, and that is the best medicine for any mental condition. So if you're really interested to change, if you're really struggling with it, go for a book, a Vipassana meditation, and you will see the changes after 10 days.
Thank you for the.
Thank you, Father. That was a very good question, the response. Any other questions from the students? Father, I have a question for you. So you talked a lot about the positive psychology. How do you relate this to the education system today? How soon do you think a topic like a psychology should be taught in schools? Should it be in the middle school, high school, college? Based on your experience, what are your thoughts on when techniques, some of the things that he talked about today should be taught to students? Right, I think the sooner yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, go ahead. That was my question about
positive psychology. After making many researches,
sure,
one of the co-founders, Martin Seligman, suggested positive education, which I just mentioned. Positive education is merging the traditional education with the PERMA we saw, the 5 points, and values in action. Values in action are strength, human strength, virtues. So integrating these principles through many years, about 18 years of research and practical experiences in many schools have shown that it has effect. Now, I will give you one example. In Australia, first they started this one in a school. The whole campus adopted this principle. A team went from Pennsylvania University, where Martin Seligman is the professor. They went and taught the teachers first about positive psychology, giving different sessions. Once the teachers are trained, parents were given training. And then students were instilled little by little into these values. So the whole campus became, they adapted to these principles, and everything changed. The children's outlook, values, their character, everything changed. Not only children, teachers, and parents. And so they tried this in different schools, and it's all success. And that is why researches on positive education has come up. Now, as I told, my first topic I suggested to ma'am was positive education because it's a B.Ed college. But then I thought, since it is students, I would take a lighter subject, which is practical, because that's more we have to learn the theories and how they did the things. So if I am giving a talk to a group of teachers in an institution, I can tell them how to do that, how to implement positive education. Of course, we need some experts to bring from outside to give training. First, gradually, we integrate the principles of positive psychology into traditional values. And it has found good results in many schools, and it is still continued in many countries. I think in India, Bihar, I think a couple of schools they have tried.
Okay.
From Penn University.
Yeah,
and
that is what I
especially
was
American universities and in the US, Australia, many countries are trying that now. It's becoming a trend. in the sense that people are adopting. Those who know about the importance of that, they are adopting the positive psychology, positive education to their schools and any religious institution.
Sure. Thank you for that.
It's
I think
about teaching children
integrating
well-being.
integrating positive education into the curriculum.
Traditional curriculum. So it's not
Traditional curriculum.
we are not doing away with the traditional one, but integrating. So it's
Integrating
teaching
that.
children well-being. That can reduce the depression, as one of them asked how to reduce the depression. That's what I started with. Most children.
Yes, sir. Actually, that is the need of the hour.
Yeah. So teaching children well-being and resilience. Resilience is very important today. So teaching children well-being and resilience can reduce depression, can change their perspective towards life. They learn values. They become different and they're happy, of course. That is the ultimate goal.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else? Do you have any questions?
Okay, I think even you can write to father, you can write your questions to me. Okay, so that I can, send your questions to father. And now I think.
Anything, we can be in touch. You write to ma'am and we can communicate. There's no problem.
Okay. So
And
thank you,
if anyone
children.
is struggling, if anyone is struggling, not chronic but normal problems, I can also help you. There's no problem.
Thank you very much. That is great, sir. And now, Minsia, vote of thanks. You can.
We are really thankful to you for taking this time out of his busy schedule. Thank you so much, Father, for your fruitful speech. Now I invite Grishma to deliver vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone present over here. Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege to have been asked to prepare vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of the BSS family, extend a heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Father Csikszentmihalyi, who blessed us with his presence and took out valuable time of your busy schedule. The session was very interesting and informative. It made us to travel through positive thoughts that can be used in our life through inspiring stories and practical theories. Thank you, Father. Thank you for your words. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to Dr. Krishnakumar sir for taking initiatives to conduct such a beautiful program for us as a member of our family. Thank you, sir, for spending your valuable time with us. I also wish to express my gratitude to our dear principal, Dr. K.S. Balambika ma'am, for providing us encouragement and support. I'm very grateful to Santosh sir and Ginny teacher for coordinating this webinar session. I also extend my thanks to our dear teachers for supporting us, as no program can become successful with a single person. So I extend my big thanks to all my friends and all those who are watching this program. Once again, thank you for all for watching this session. Thank you.
So that was really fantastic. And congratulations, children and Ginny teacher, for beautifully, organizing the event and the welcome speech, vote of thanks, and everything. And Minsia, every Abhinaya, Minsia, Grishma, and all those who spoke, Ashik, and again everybody. You did really a great job. Okay, so thank you very much, Shijo sir, once again, and thank you, Krishna Kumar sir, for this great session. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate this time with you. And I'm really happy to be here with you, sharing these thoughts. And I hope it will help everyone to have a different perspective on life and live happy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye,
Have a
sir.
great day, folks in India. Good night, sir. So we'll connect us again. Thank you very much.
Okay, you too.
Okay,
Good night.
thank
You're late now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
madam.
you,
Thank you,
Krishna
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. This has been recorded. It's also available on YouTube. So I'll also send you the recording. So
Okay, sir.
have a
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
Please stay safe and stay healthy, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.